Salary data shows staff nurses in Tampa and less than staff nurses in Dallas. Suppose that in a follow-up study of 40 staff nurses in Tampa and 50 staff nurses in Dallas, we obtain the following results. In Tampa, the sample size N1 is 40, the sample mean X1 bar is 56.1, representing $56,100, and the sample standard deviation S1 is 6, representing $6,000. I've rescaled the numbers here to represent thousands of dollars rather than dollars to make the calculations simpler, and this won't change the results of the analysis. And then in Dallas, the sample size N2 is 50, the sample mean X2 bar is 59.4, representing $59,400, and the sample standard deviation S2 is 7, representing $7,000. Part A, formulate hypotheses so that if the null hypothesis is rejected, we can conclude that the salaries for staff nurses in Tampa are significantly lower than for those in Dallas. So if Tampa, which was sample 1, the salaries are lower than those in Dallas, which is sample 2, then mu1 minus mu2 would be negative. So we'll put that as our alternative hypothesis, and then mu1 minus mu2 greater than or equal to 0 will go in our null hypothesis. Part B, what is the value of the test statistic? So we use a t-statistic in this case, since we're not assuming known population standard deviations, rather we're using sample standard deviations. We'll use a t-statistic formula to come up with minus 2.41 for the value of the t-statistic. Part C, what is the p-value? So for the p-value we need to know the degrees of freedom for the t-distribution, and we'll just plug in all our sample values into that horrendous formula and obtain 87.6, and then we'll round that down to 87 to use in the t-table, and then we'll find where our t-statistic minus 2.41 would lie in that t-table to get a range for the p-value. So since the t-table uses positive critical values, we'll find where plus 2.41 would lie, and if we look at the row corresponding to 87 degrees of freedom, we'll see that 2.370, which has a tail area of 0.01, and 2.634, which has a tail area of 0.005, they lie either side of 2.41. So therefore the tail area beyond 2.41 is going to be in between 0.005 and 0.01. And then part D, what is our conclusion? If we use a significance level alpha of 0.05, so since our p-value is in between 0.005 and 0.01, it's certainly less than 0.05, our significance level, so we reject the null in favor of the alternative, and this means there is evidence that nurses in Tampa are less than nurses in Dallas.